Hey, it's Luke, still on holiday, still relaxing, not reading crappy novelizations, but here to introduce yet another classic episode from the Book Was Better archive for those of you too lazy to investigate the Book Was Better site. Now, this particular classic is episode 11, so all the way back with Jess McLeod. And we've covered a lot of Alien books since, but this was the very first one by Alan Dean Foster, and it is crazy. Clearly, this is a guy who had absolutely no idea what the film was going to look like, and despite the title, wasn't 100% sure that there was an alien in it, and instead focused a lot on the cat. So if you want to hear about the original catagonist, really get in the mind of Jones the cat, then this is definitely the book for you. I haven't listened to this for a very long time. It's probably like all kind of rough around the edges compared to recent stuff. But if you've never heard it before, give it a go. And I'm happy to announce there'll be one more classic next week. And then Book Was Better returns for 2016 on January the 19th. And I've already scheduled about 9 episodes. So it's going to be back in a big way. Lots of stuff coming up. Lots of crazy books. I've got a big pile of them here, which are the ones that we're going to be doing. And I think it's going to be an awesome year. But up until then, here's Alien.
Hello and welcome to The Book Was Better, the podcast where we talk about the book of the movie. I'm Jessica McLeod.
And I'm Luke Milton.
And today we are talking about
Alien!
Hey you, put down the popcorn and turn on the light. It's gonna be alright, my friend. In the end, take my hand. Trust me, the book was better. Welcome to a very special, very romantic Valentine's Day episode of The Book Was Better.
It's very romantic, isn't it? Valentine's Day. Because we love you. This is our Valentine's gift to you.
And you love us.
We love each other. Mm-hmm. And we love aliens.
Yeah.
And what better? What says Valentine's Day more than a phallic monster entering through your mouth and then exploding out of your body?
It's beautiful. It's a metaphor.
I would be more than happy to incubate inside any of you.
Yeah, this was a pretty amazing book. I think this is pretty special.
It's pretty crazy. Good film. We like Alien.
We love Alien. Yeah, I'm a big fan.
Wasn't a big fan of the book.
Yeah, yeah. The book.
I've got a few notes.
Yeah, got a few notes for Alan Dean Foster. We should say this is a professional. Well, he's a sci-fi writer and a novelization writer.
Oh, he's definitely the real deal.
One. He's a big one.
And he knows some big words.
He does. Oh my God. But he has a history. He wrote the novelization of A New Hope as George Lucas.
I wonder if he wore a flannel shirt while he wrote it, just to get into the George Lucas kind of frame of mind.
I was reading his list of novelizations and it made me so excited. Clash of the Titans, how good would that be?
The original with the mechanical owl.
Yeah, from the 70s.
Whoa.
The Thing, Krull.
I would be interested in Krull. If
totally.
we can track down...
Somebody find Krull and send it to us.
I'd be more interested if I hadn't just read one of Alan Dean Foster's books. But I am interested in Krull as a idea.
Yeah. He wrote Transformers and Transformers 2, which... I can't even imagine being made into a book form.
They're very visual films.
Explosions happened.
Not a lot of story.
Explosions and then robots. Who's this robot? I don't know. Maybe it's that other robot.
Sam was watching his dogs hump. They were really going at it. Hump, hump, humpity hump. Now the robot was humping Megan Fox.
Yeah, it's He's had quite the life too. According to his bio, he's actually been to WA.
Whoa!
This is where we live.
Western Australia for the Americans, not with Wisconsinonia.
He's ridden 40-foot whale sharks in the remote waters off Western Australia. I find that hard to believe. Ridden them.
Can you ride? Do we have 40-foot whale sharks out there that you can ride?
I don't think you're supposed to ride them. I think you're supposed to sort of swim with them and observe them.
Americans don't give a damn.
Yeah, they just...
ride anything.
He probably wore spurs while he did it.
Probably said yeehaw. That's my theory.
If he's listening, or even if his fans are listening, I apologise if we get a little critical. He sounds like a great guy with a great sci-fi background.
Do we really have 40-foot whale sharks who can ride in our... Is this one of those things that because you're in America and you think, oh, what's an exotic distance place that no one will ask questions about? Western Australia.
So it turns out that Alan Dean Foster wrote the novelisation of Western Australia.
The whale shark edition.
And he's Leslie Gore's cousin.
Wow, I don't know who that is.
Yeah, she's saying, it's my party and I'll cry if I want to.
Now I know who that is.
Yeah.
No, it's a very talented family.
Yeah. So this book is so nuts. I was actually worried because it's a really good film, and when I first I sort of flipped through to see if there would be enough material for us, and instantly I saw that this was going to be a good one.
It's very bombastic.
Yes, exactly. That's a really good word. It's pompous. It's almost Shakespearean, I think. The way that every verb has an adverb. Nothing goes without an adjective. There's no simple language in this. There's no short sentences. You really get the sense that this guy is writing an important novel with capital letters. That's what this is.
Which is funny because, we read those novels where it's just churned out, no one gives a shit, get from A to B. We've got some favourite authors, which we'll be revisiting soon, that do a similar thing. And then you have these guys that are like, oh no, this isn't just a novel adaptation. I am rewriting this thing. I am getting in the head of everybody. And he's definitely one of those guys that...
he gives a shit.
He wants to prove he's the real deal.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you almost wonder if maybe it has a little bit to do with the stigma of novelizations, that they're trying to get over that a little bit, maybe?
Yeah, some people don't give a shit, but he gives a shit.
An enormous shit.
An huge shit.
I kept imagining it, all the descriptive bits read in the voice of, the magician guy from Venture Brothers?
You, sir!
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, big voice.
I know, because I thought it was quite ironic that the film has about 4 pages of dialogue in it. But in this book, the characters won't shut up.
There's none of that moody, quiet... kind of tension building. It's just people talking constantly.
Do you think he saw the film before writing it, or do you think this was just written from the script? Because he doesn't really capture the tone that...
No.
Ridley Scott. So Ridley.
I call him Ridley, but you call him Ridley
I call him Ridders.
There's none of that. It really is... it's really... You know who else he reminds me of? And this, another reference, but the guy in Party Down, played by Martin Starr, who's he's so dismissive of things like Star Wars. He says, I write hard sci-fi. That's what this guy reminds. This is hard sci-fi. This is the real deal.
Made me hard.
Oh, really? You gonna go there?
Fine, already.
All right.
6 minutes in. Yes, it's Valentine's Day.
Yeah, fair enough. From the very first line,
this is a
nuts.
Great example, isn't it, of what you're talking about here?
This is so crazy, and it's almost like you know how science fiction and fantasy writers do a lot of world building, where they go back and they talk about the technology of their world and and stuff that might not make it in, but he shoved it all in.
7 dreamers. You must understand that they were not professional dreamers. Professional dreamers are highly paid, respected, much sought after talents. Like the majority of us, these 7 dreamers dreamt without effort or discipline. This ends up...
No, that's my note.
That's you. I wanted more.
I know.
Because he does. He goes on about the dreamers for a while.
4 pages. And if everyone's seen the film, you remember, they just hop out of those, cryo tubes or whatever. They're asleep. They're in suspended animation. But they
get up, they yawn, they scratch their balls. Yeah. We get on with the movie.
That's it. But it just goes on, and it makes no difference to the plot. It never comes up again, but it's like his way of introducing the characters through just telling us about them. There's none of this show don't tell. He is literally just telling us, here is this character, this is what he's like, this is what you can expect from him. Next.
They had a dream.
Yeah, they get a little bit of his writing style there.
So we get introduced to these characters. Captain Dallas. What's he about? Tom Skerritt in the film, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes. Captain Dallas now, he appeared lazy while being the best organised of all. Nor was he lacking in imagination. His beard was proof of that.
I don't understand that.
Yeah.
Was it a particularly imaginative beard in the movie?
Pretty much a standard 1979 beard.
It wasn't like a crazy curly beard didn't have like a bird living in it or anything.
No, and I guess, Foster goes on to talk about how it's crazy to have a beard on a ship when you're going into suspended animation, whereas shaving, why would you when you're on a ship and you're going into suspended animation? It's really confusing.
I can't process that. But I'm not a professional dreamer.
No, that's true.
That's my problem.
You're lacking in imagination.
And beard. I've got a little bit of a beard.
Yeah, you got a pathetic beard. So we're quickly introduced to... You've seen my husband's beard. You know what I look for in a beard.
That's true. That's a beard.
His beard is proof of a lot of things.
He's very imaginative.
Look, this is great. This is where we really get Foster's kind of faux Shakespearean style. Captain of 2 ships Dallas was, the interstellar tug Nostromo and his body. Both would remain intact in dreaming as well as when awake.
See, that sounds like you fucked it up, but you didn't.
No, that's how it's written.
Sounds like you took the words and you put them in a hat and you jumbled them up and then you put them out. But I want to read that again because I'm trying to process that. Captain of 2 ships Dallas was, the interstellar tug Nostromo, so that's one ship, and his body.
Yes.
Both would remain intact in dreaming as well as when awake.
What does it mean?
I don't know.
It's so confusing. And he switches words around, like words and phrases. He switches them around in this very kind of, faux Elizabethan sort of, or, I don't know what it is, faux Shakespearean sort of style. Like, he says, never would he be a captain. Like, why don't you say he would never be a captain?
I guess if you'd been in suspended animation for a long period of time, you'd probably be feeling like an interstellar tug.
Oh, God. Happy Valentine's Day!
That's all I've got to offer in this one, I'm sorry.
I like his description of Parker, and if you've seen the film, you remember Parker's the black guy, the engineer. He's pretty harsh on him.
Most of the ooze and contempt fermenting at the bottom of his soul cistern were kept well hidden.
Nice.
He's basically saying, he's not that much of a piece of shit in the movie, but trust me.
Yeah, deep down.
Was a piece of shit.
You just can't see it in the movie. It doesn't come through. He's terrible.
He's not looking at the navigation panel. He's thinking about rape.
Yeah. Well, this is great. Here's his description of how the engineers want to have sex with Lambert, who's the kind of the weaker female character who's not Ripley. Parker and Brett often imagined their own systems interplotting with hers.
Valentine's Day, there'll be a lot of systems interplotting tonight.
They considered the question of load factors and spatial juxtapositions in a manner that would have infuriated Lambert had she been aware of them. Such unauthorized musings they kept to themselves, securely locked in daydreams and night dreams, lest they make her mad. It would not do to upset Lambert. As the Nostromo's navigator, she was the one primarily responsible for seeing them safely home, and that was the most exciting and desirable conjoining any man could imagine.
I think I just blew my load factor.
It's so much creepier than just saying, like, they thought about fucking her. It's so creepy. Unauthorized musings. Oh my God.
Wow.
So, basically, I was thinking about, we talk about a lot about what novelizations do.
Yes.
What's the point of that? And often, especially this kind where they really go nuts, it's about expanding on the characters.
Absolutely. Finding out what makes them tick.
Exactly. An hour and a half, you don't get to see inside their heads. And one of the things he's done in this novel, I don't know if you noticed this, but he's kind of picked up on like a one-liner and just made it define the character.
Everything has a story. He does
everything.
expand. But, now this is my frustration with the book. And we're going to get into this a bit more later.
Okay.
He expands on all this trivial shit at the beginning.
Oh my God,
I'm really interested in all this stuff. Every little word I'm going to turn into a fucking anecdote about something. Mm-hmm. But the end, The last
It's
hour
so
of the
quick.
film, 20 pages.
It's so weird. You're getting through this book and you're like, wait, why isn't this getting to the bit with the alien?
It's like he had a set word count, and then he looked and he went, oh, shit, all right. And then she beat the alien, the end. Thank you.
Seriously.
But we will get there.
Yeah, we will.
That's foreshadowing.
Not there yet. Harry Dean Stanton, great actor.
Love him.
Love Harry
Loved
Dean
him
Stanton.
in
Everything
he's been in.
Repo Man is
Seen
my
Twin
favourite.
Peaks?
No, I don't think so.
Should have been.
We're going to get in trouble if he is, or if he's not.
We've confused everyone to the point where it won't matter.
One of us is definitely right. So he's
Or wrong.
he's in the movie. He's Brett. He's an engineer, and he has a couple of lines in the movie.
A couple of words.
Yeah, exactly.
One of which is...
And there's this scene where someone, I think it's Ripley, he gives him shit about how he just responds to everything with the word right.
Right.
And then he says, right.
Right.
Haha, on with the movie.
Right.
But here, Foster turns this into his defining personality trait.
For Brett, that single word was much more than a mere statement of opinion. It was an affirmation of self. For him, silence was the cleanest form of communication. In loquaciousness lay insanity.
Right.
We're gonna fuck up some words in this thing, aren't we?
I actually, yeah.
As we go on.
In
Loquaciousness lay insanity. It was an affirmation of self.
Yeah. Right.
The fact that he went right
Yeah.
about everything.
Yeah. If you've ever met an engineer, the loquaciousness is not something that they have to keep down.
Right.
So, this is so weird. Okay, everyone remembers this scene. It's such an iconic scene. Alien is such an iconic movie where they wake up out of hypersleep.
Yes, yeah. They're in these pods, the things come out and they come out. Because Alien is all about process, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not so much about story. Like, you get to see what would it be like to sort of wake up. Everything's
so
slow
true.
and you get to see how everything works. Like, Lucas will go, a ship lands on a planet, you'll see a 20-second shot, the ship will land, we're in.
Yeah.
Next thing.
Let's get to it.
Alien will go, well, what's that like? How do we get into the ship? What controls do we press? This detaches, now we're flying down. It almost happens in real time.
Because it's not really about an alien, it's about isolation.
And we're seeing this new world in sort of real time through the eyes of the people that are living in it. It really, absorbs us. So when something happens, it's quite shocking. It's like suddenly,
Yes.
Bam, now we're moving.
It's heightened, absolutely.
Wow. Not here.
Absolutely. No. And, you'll notice we've been talking for like 15 minutes and we're only getting to them getting out of the fucking sleep chambers. That's because it takes like a couple of chapters for them to start doing this.
Probably put you in a sleep chamber by now.
So in the book, they wake up out of hypersleep. Like you said, they get up, they scratch their balls, they're awake. In the book,
Have coffee.
they wake up out of hypersleep naked and dripping with slime. What? It's so weird. And
And sexy for Valentine's Day.
well, no, apparently, according to Foster, however analeptic, slime of any sort is not becoming. Hey, fuck you, Foster. Don't judge what I find becoming.
I thought it was becoming, especially using the towel she found there. She commenced wiping the transparent syrup from her legs.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Valentine. You're my Valentine.
That we should actually start doing a line of cards based on the lines from Alien, the novelization.
Now, dear Valentine, I'd like to wipe the transparent syrup from your legs with my towel.
Yeah, all right, thank you.
Or my towel
This is your towel.
that I found there.
I know this is just a tiny little thing, but this perfectly encapsulates the shitty loquaciousness.
Yeah, because,
his writing.
We were just making fun about the entendre there, the innuendo. But, sometimes a cigar is a cigar, and sometimes a flashing yellow light is...
That devilish little sun-hued cyclops.
He can make something out of anything, couldn't he?
Yellow, not good enough. Sun-hued.
Cyclops.
It's just that to me kind of encapsulated the pomposity of his writing, that real 70s sci-fi, like, it's so important.
You, sir!
I love this bit of characterization. This is back to Harry Dean Stanton. He was the sort of person who could walk for days on a broken leg, but was unable to ignore a malfunctioning toilet. want to meet someone who could shit for days in a malfunctioning toilet.
They malfunction. It's the flush capacity.
Yeah, that's
is
right.
the problem. That's a callback. Listen to our last episode, Back to the Future.
That's true.
Loved it.
Yeah, okay, so here's some more. I'm sorry if this is boring. I could not stop writing this shit down. This is data entry made into poetry. Kane was checking out his own console, caressing the automatics with his eyes.
Lambert's fingers danced and... what the...
Arpeggio.
On a tightly clustered rank of controls. Do you notice this was one of the other authors that we read who really tried to make a meal out of everything was Day After Tomorrow.
Yes.
What's that guy's name?
Whitney Strieber.
Whitney Strieber. And there was a lot of making typing sound exciting. Like everyone had their typing style. Like, look you guys, I'm typing. Wow, stuff's happening. I'm changing the world with my fingers.
I guess a guy who spends his day typing has to make it sound phallic.
Yeah.
Caressing, dancing. Yeah. But yeah, how much does that sound like masturbation?
Watch me type, ladies. Ow!
Speaking of special Valentine's Day stories.
Now, this isn't in the film, is it? This is...
God, no.
This is something that's very unique to the book and a bit of an insight into Mr. Foster.
This
Dean
is so
Foster.
nuts.
I've forgotten his name.
Alan Foster. Alan Dean Foster.
I know the parts.
So many names.
I don't know the order.
Yeah. This is so great. And this is actually the first bit I read, and this was what told me immediately that this was going to be a nutty, nutty book. You remember that place. All four walls, floor and ceiling perfectly mirrored with no bed. Just a velvet net suspended in the center of the room to confine your activities and keep you from bouncing off the walls. And 0G. He shook his head in disapproving remembrance. That's no place for amateurs to fool around, no sir. Guess this kid got embarrassed or cajoled into trying it by his crewmates. From what the girl involved told me later, as she was cleaning herself up, they got it started off fine. But then they started to spin, and he panicked. Couldn't stop their tumbling. She tried, but it takes two to stop as well as start in freefall. What with the mirrors messing up his sense of position and all, plus the free tumbling, he couldn't stop throwing up. Huck it down, another mouthful of beer. Never saw such a mess in your natural life. Bet they're still working on those mirrors. Yeah, Brett smiled appreciatively. Parker sat still, letting the last vestiges of memory fade from his mind. They left a pleasantly lascivious residue behind.
So, they're fucking in a zero-gravity space brothel and they vomit all over each other.
It's a good story. You can't deny that that's a really good story.
I would have liked to have seen that in the film.
I know. Words don't do it justice.
Prometheus. Come on. Space
Yes!
brothel.
But why? I mean, what does this add? What is going on?
Just sort of twirling. You know those fireworks that spin around and spray sparks? I can just imagine these naked bodies spinning around, spraying vomit.
It's evocative.
It would work great on the big screen.
It would. Shit, 3D.
Space brothel. Holy crap. Got poked in the eye.
It's very evocative writing.
Well, I'll tell you something, it stinks. Parker's tone left no doubt he was referring to something other than the odour the corridor walls were impregnated with.
Nice.
He was being figurative.
Nice. What? What odour? What is he talking about?
The space odour
Yeah.
in the corridors.
One of the things that he loves to do as a writer is talk about literal plus figurative. Like, there was light on, but there was also a light inside people.
Can you give me an example of this, please, Jess?
But they did illuminate the dark screens, thereby lightening both the bridge and the mental atmosphere thereon.
Fuck you.
It sent personal possessions and the frantic thoughts of the crew flying.
Everything was flying around. You can't stow your frantic thoughts in the overhead lockers, that's for sure.
This is a line that I had to write down because I actually like this.
Oh.
The storm wind sounds rose and fell against the motionless receptors, filling the bridge with a whoo click that sounded like fish arguing. There's something very Dali-esque about that.
And it's Valentine's Day, so there'll be a lot of bridges filled with a who click tonight.
What?
What's a who
You're
click?
doing it wrong.
Fish arguing. Sounds like fish arguing in here.
But then again, there's this sentence, and I'd like to listen, when you listen to this, please note that this is an entire paragraph.
You got the who click, so can I do this one?
You do it.
It was exciting and intellectually gratifying to speculate on what might lie waiting in the black gulfs when one was behind the business end of a telescope, quite another to do so isolated in an unpleasant little speck of a world such as this, confronted by a ship of non-human manufacture that uncomfortably resembled a growth instead of a familiar device for manipulating and overcoming the neat laws of physics.
Oh my god, it's exhausting.
Wow. But, paints a very vivid picture.
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't remember what it started with.
I have no idea what that's about.
Yeah. It's such a long sentence.
It's an epic award-winning sentence.
Here's another one. Curiosity, after all, was what had driven mankind out from his isolated, unimportant world and across the gulf between the stars. It was also, Hugh thoughtfully reminded himself, what killed the figurative cat.
You, sir!
You, sir, are a figurative cat.
Wow.
Yeah.
And cats. God. Do I have...
The cat shit is so annoying.
Whoever has to read this next bit really has to deal with a difficult word.
I'm gonna try it. This is awful. This is, yeah, I'm not... Unexpectedly, a realignment of priorities in her querying jogged something within the ship's Brobdingnagian interior.
Brobdingnagian? Brobdingnagian.
I've never heard it said out loud.
Brobdingnagian?
I get the feeling that Alan Dean Foster got a thesaurus for Christmas.
You know the Brobdingnagian, it means big.
Yeah, that's all it means. It's a reference to like Gulliver's Travels, Robert Louis Stevenson, and like it's just a reference that's so pointless.
It was big.
It's such a pointless word to use. It's showing off writing.
It's sort of like he wanted something he could get between himself and the alien in a hurry, acidic expectorations or other unimaginable forms of defense notwithstanding. It spits acid.
Oh my god, how many words over 3 syllables are in this book, do you think? It's like every second word.
I'm getting tired.
You've literally got your head in your hands.
Cradled in my hands. I don't know. No, Alan Dean.
Listen to this. Worse terrors might even now be gathering in the dust-impregnated dusk.
The dust-impregnated dusk. You try saying that 5 times fast.
It's like a vocal exercise.
What are you trying to prove, Alan Dean Foster?
Okay, now we're at the cat bit.
Now, this is really like the fucking adding insult to injury, isn't it? I mean, we're talking about all the unnecessary detail he adds. He starts to write from the perspective of the cat.
And the whole point of the cat in the novel is, like, at some point, you know, it's banging around in a locker and they think it's the alien, and then it's a catharsis when it's not. That's literally the point of the cat in the movie, right?
I don't know why they got a cat in the movie. Like, why do they have a space cat?
Yeah.
And why does she want to take a space cat on a tiny shuttle?
And also, yeah, leave the space cat to die. Seriously, priorities.
Cat's piss is worse, like, at the best of times. When you're on a tiny shuttle, breathing the same air.
Yeah.
So now we're in the mind of the cat.
Jones, the cat.
Jones the cat.
Jones the cat was sitting in front of a port. He found the storm exhilarating and had evolved a frenetic game of swatting at the larger particles of dust whenever one struck the port's exterior. Jones knew he could not actually catch one of the flying motes. He understood the underlying physical laws behind the fact of a solid transparency. That lessened the delight of the game, but did not obviate it. Besides, he could pretend that the dark fragments of stone were birds, though he'd never seen a bird. But he instinctively understood that concept too.
No! No! I will not accept this. I will not accept that. I don't understand anything that's happening in this book, but apparently a cat can understand the underlying physical laws behind the fact of a solid transparency. It's bullshit.
It doesn't stop there. He keeps going on about the cat. Over and over again. This really got me. On the bridge, Lambert was amusing Jones the cat with some string. The string supposedly was on board solely for Jones's enjoyment, but the cat knew better.
He didn't!
It was occasionally incumbent on him to entertain the humans. They seemed to derive considerable pleasure from his poking and swatting at the white cord as they manipulated it in their clumsy great paws. What the fuck?
Cats do not use words like occasionally incumbent. I can believe Icon has cheeseburger, something like that. That's fine, lols, I'm a cat. Mm-hmm. This is crazy.
Yeah. This is awful. I actually originally wanted to make a joke about this obviously being written for 12-year-old boys and not Kathy, but then I got sucked into the Kathy article on Wikipedia. Apparently, Irving initially left Kathy because of her dislike of cats. Who knew? Did you know that?
I don't know who Kathy and Irving are. Now I'm even more confused.
Ack? You don't know Ack?
Ack?
Oh my god. You don't read newspaper comics. Alright, moving on.
Kathy, the newspaper.
The comic. You know, she married Irving, trying on bikinis and the swimsuits and...
She was so fat.
Yeah. Alright. This is great. This is another great metaphor. He loves his metaphors, doesn't he? Oh my god.
A wrong move and he could sever Kane's head from his shoulders as easily as a bad report could cut a man's pension.
I did not read that word as pension the first time I read it.
Oh!
It's true. But yeah, what a great metaphor. That's, you know...
It's something.
Yeah, it's something.
We don't always get metaphors in our novelisation, so I guess we should be kind of thankful that we're getting 12 every paragraph.
But I love that they're taking he is taking a situation of an alien being stuck to a man's face and someone trying to cut it off, and then bringing that back to the elaborate and colourful metaphor of a guy's pension being cut because of his supervisor's report.
But
it really brings it to life, the situation.
I like the fact that you just used the word alien, because seriously, if you just listen to the 30 minutes that we've just spoken about, and you had, like, been a fan of Ridley Scott's fantastic Alien movie, would you think it was the same thing?
Yeah, no.
You'd think it was Hotel for Dogs.
Spoiler.
With the cat. That makes no sense. I'm confused.
You know how sometimes, this is good, you know how in novelizations, you know there's a joke in the movie and then the novelization just explains it and it's just not funny anymore.
Especially the junior novelizations love that.
It's painful. This one makes up its own joke, but explains it. At precisely the wrong moment, a voice called from the nearby comm speaker. What's happening? Oh hell, Parker thought. Ripley, that damn woman. I'll tell her what's happening. My Johnson is happening, he informed her curtly. Zing!
It's Valentine's Day, you might want to use that one.
Honey, my Johnson is happening.
Whoa, my Johnson is happening. It's happening.
Get in here.
It's happening right now. Quick, everyone. Might not happen again tonight.
That damn woman.
I'm angry.
I know you are.
I'm so angry
You're
now.
so upset.
This book made me angry. It made me angry when I read it, and now I'm angry revisiting it.
She headed for the bridge, much troubled in mind. Little bits of coincidence swam in her head, nagging at her thoughts. The mind glue to bring them together remained missing.
Where did I put my mind glue?
I think this might be what's happened to you.
Is it in the overhead locker?
Do you want to read this next one? I think you'll like it.
I like this one. Tongue and larynx were forced into action.
It's happening!
Whoa, it's happening right now. It's starting to happen. Oh, it just happened. But he does. He engages the reader's every sense. Dallas recognised some of the odours as issuing from various members of the crew. He took no offence at them, merely sniffed once or twice in recognition. Such fineries as deodorant were neither missed nor taken exception to on a ship the size of the Nostromo. Imprisoned in a metal bottle light years from warm worlds and sanitised atmosphere, the crew's awakened minds were occupied by more important matters than the effluvia of one's neighbour. Now, bear in mind, this is a man who's about to summarise the last 20 minutes, last hour of the movie,
Yeah.
the part that involves the alien, in about 20 pages.
Yeah.
But he's gonna, at the moment, he's just gonna tread water talking about the smell of the characters.
But on the upside, I now have a title for my novel, The Effluvia of One's Neighbour.
Whoa.
You know what?
That works.
I really like it.
That works.
You know what though? I'm pretty sure that if you're in confined quarters in a cramped spaceship with someone, deodorant is the most important thing that you have.
I thought it was kind of funny that after discussing the odors we get, if I wanted to be a real explorer and go gallivanting off after Discovery bonus, I would have joined the Rim Corps. And I thought, man, I want to join the Rim Corps and see if they'll give me a rim job.
Jesus Christ.
A rim job at the Rim Corps.
Yeah. It's happening.
Now I'm explaining the joke. Now you know what it feels like, Mr. Foster Dean Gallons, Harry Stanton.
Come on, he urged silently. Get it up! Seriously.
Johnson.
Let's get back to some of these metaphors.
Let's just rapid fire some.
As we know, this is the essence of good writing. Metaphors. Depression.
Is that a metaphor?
What? Depression, making the air seem thick as Vaseline.
His last tormented scream still rattled around in Dallas's brain like a pebble in a shoe.
It popped out as easily as a clean birth. I'm going to bet that Alan Dean Foster at this point had never witnessed a birth. Because popped out as easily as a baby out of a vagina.
Bam.
Yeah.
Pop.
There
Clean.
you go.
They didn't even need a towel.
This line just made me so mad. This all he's saying is low lighting. There's low lighting. It's hard
Well,
to
that's what you would say, but what would he say?
Well, I'm not a writer. Dallas was grateful for the lumens he had, but that didn't keep him from lamenting the floodlights that weren't.
Yeah, I've got lumens, but I really wanted floodlights.
Fuck.
Damn it. Anything down there? We're as clean as your mother's reputation down here.
Zing?
I think so.
I think you got it wrong.
My Johnson's happening. That's what's happening.
This is a note for aspiring writers. I'm no Alan Dean Foster, but I'm going to go ahead and say that while grammar is important, you don't always have to have your dialogue in perfect grammar. Lead on. You two know that level better than I.
You're still just riffing on Yoda after doing the Star Wars book, maybe.
It's a Midsummer Night's alien attack.
Oh, let's learn another word.
Oh my god! Nothing here, she told her remaining Rotarius. I had to look that one up. I'm not a stupid woman. I have a PhD in English. No shit. I had to look this up, and I would be surprised if anyone who read this didn't have to look that up. Tell me, what is a Rotarius?
Literally net man or net fighter in Latin.
Yeah, it's a Roman gladiator with a net.
Who fought with equipment styled on that of a fisherman.
So, basically what he's saying is the dude with her is carrying a net. Give me a fucking break.
That's Retarius. Richard. Yeah, I can't do
Johnson
it.
is happening.
Can't make it work. So there's a little side plot here.
Oh, this really pissed me off.
Pissed me off too.
Everything about this pissed you off.
Yeah.
Okay, Ripley, one of the best female characters probably
Ever.
in film history,
Ever.
and one of my personal favourites. And this really shat me. She'd always been a little paranoid. Current events were making it worse. She began to worry as much over what was happening to her mind as she was about the alien. Of course, as soon as they found and killed the alien, the mental problems would vanish. Wouldn't they?
There's an alien in this movie? In this book?
She needs more mind glue.
Apparently. It's coming apart. Where did I put it?
But maybe she's always been crazy.
There was a distant ringing sound. At first she thought it was inside her head, where funny noises often originated.
What the fuck?
Bing!
Women be audio hallucinating.
Ooga.
So hysterical.
It's crazy alien.
And here's another great little. Here's your strong female character. She's Ripley is beginning to suspect that there's something funny about Ash, who, spoiler, is a robot.
Ian Holm.
She investigates this, and classic female fashion.
Lambert. Did you ever sleep with Ash?
Yeah. And when Lambert says no, she's like,
Maybe I should sleep with Ash. That'll get to the bottom of this mystery.
Liquid.
Ash, what time's your Johnson happening?
Well, how about this? Liquid boiled out of the crushed member.
Ooh, it's happening right now.
That's not really sexy.
Liquid boiled out of the... No, I guess... So look, this is the point where I took over some of these notes.
Yeah.
Because I thought,
I was sick of it.
Jess got sick of it. She said, I'm not going to cover the last hour. No, she pretty much did. There's like... The point, if you remember the film, if you're a fan of the film, when Ian Holm is exposed as an android and he gets his head knocked...
So exciting. It's such a huge
Huge
reveal.
revelation.
Amazing.
In the book, that is 20 minutes from the entire thing... 20 pages from the entire thing finishing.
Yeah, literally. Page 230 out of 250 pages.
Parker hefted one of the compact trackers and stepped behind Ash, who single-mindedly continued to choke Ripley. The engineer swung the tracker with all his strength. There was no blood. Only multi-hued wires and printed circuits showed, protruding from the terminated stump of the science officer's neck. I mean...
Meh.
Like, it's so bland, so by the numbers, still so clinical.
Yeah.
Whereas in the movie, and this was the thing I didn't remember from the movie, that just... Like, what a scene. He tries to choke her with a rolled-up porno mag.
Yeah.
He's, like, ramming this rolled-up porno mag down her throat for, like, a minute.
Yeah, it's this incredible... Like, it's a metaphor for a rape scene.
And then he's running around with half a head. There is milk spewing out of his body.
Rivers of it coming out. It's disgusting. It's so cool.
And the book's printed circuit showed protruding from the terminated stump of the science officer's neck. I've got about 19 pages left.
I've lost interest.
And then I'm going to bed. Crazy.
Yeah. And in the film, she just sees Ash's plan on the computer. Bam,
very
bam,
succinct,
bam.
very economic.
Get on
He
with
says,
it.
we're taking the alien, the crew is expendable. And it's kind of chilling that it's so brief and kind of... But in the book, they spew exposition for 3 pages like a fucking Harry Potter novel.
Yeah.
Like, they're in this life or death situation, and they're talking calmly for about an hour. And after Ash is gone, they're just there talking about their plans. And we've got, seriously, at this point, 12 pages left, and Ash has only just been dealt with. I just can't imagine how he's going to compress the rest of this at this stage. I mean, he wasted a page talking about the cat.
I know.
And now the whole confrontation, the whole death of Lambert, the death of Parker, the Ripley's first confrontation with the alien, and then when she discovers... I mean, that is so chilling in the movie, where she realises that the alien's on the shuttle.
And this is after she's escaped from the ship, which is about to self-destruct.
It's going to self-destruct. But in the book, it's just like, she realised that the alien was on the shuttle. It grabs out at her, and then she throws it through the airlock, pretty much, and that's it.
That's it.
So I'd like to read the last. I've got to tell you, though,
God.
I've got a confession.
Yes.
About the movie. I really like the movie, but as we said, it's all process.
Yeah.
It's a slow movie.
It is. It's
really slow.
Yeah.
So I put the subtitles on, and I watched it at 1.5 times.
Oh my God!
Speed.
That is terrible.
And it was just about right. It was just about...
This is what George Lucas and Michael Bay have done to your brain.
It was just about perfect.
You're sick.
So Ridley, if you're going to do another director's cut, just 1.5 times, it's gold. Trust me.
You are a terrible
They talk a little bit fast sometimes.
Oh my God.
But you can follow all the action just great. It's still suspenseful.
Oh
but
my
it's even
God.
better because that milk is just pumping out of there. Crazy. He's ramming that porno mag into her mouth.
You're
like
sick.
it's Valentine's Day.
Something wrong with
It's so good.
Oh my God.
So that's a tip if you're watching at
You're
home.
a terrible person. Don't listen to him. Listen, the end of this book is so weird and creepy, and we should just read it. We'll take turns with the paragraphs.
All right, where are we going to go from? Yes.
It couldn't be said she was cheerful. There were lines in her face and a raped place in her brain that mitigated any such possibility. But she was composed enough to relax her body and lean back in the pilot's seat.
A touch on several buttons repressurized the cabin. She opened the cat box. With that wonderful facility common to all cats, the Tom had already forgotten the attack. It curled up in her lap as she sat down again, a tawny curlicue of contentment, and started to purr. She stroked it as she dictated into the ship's recorder.
That wonderful facility is having a brain the size of a walnut. I should reach the frontier in another 4 months or so. With a little luck, the Beacon Network will pick up my SOS and put out the word. I'll have a statement ready to recite to the media and will secure a duplicate copy of it in this log, including a few comments of some interest to the authorities concerning certain policies of the company.
This is Ripley, ident number W5645022460H. Warrant Officer, last survivor of the commercial starship Nostromo, signing off this entry.
She thumbed the stop. It was quiet in the cabin, the first quiet of many days. She thought it barely possible she might rest now. She could only hope not to dream.
A hand caressed orange-yellow fur. She smiled. Come on, cat. Let's go to sleep.
Great ending.
Yeah, I've got a raped place in my brain now.
Seriously.
You know what would have made this book better?
What?
If it had a fucking alien in it. Because they should have called this book Cat.
I know, there is so little action in this book. It's astounding.
Alan Dean Foster's Cat. And my cat just walked in and meowed.
That was creepy.
He loved this book. I read it to him. He got into it.
He's the only one.
He knew what it was about. We're still meowing. Wow.
This was insane. Was the book better? Fuck no.
No.
Fuck no.
Not even close. And
Terrible.
you couldn't even read the book at 1.5 times speed.
I know. That's, some of these books we read, especially kids' ones, it is literally you sit down for an hour and you are out of there. This one, I had to do this in stages. It took so long.
I took the week off work. And I'm angry about my lost time and my lost income.
Okay, so I want to plug something that I found on the internet. This was bizarre. Alien Age 11. This is so amazing. A kid in Ireland was not allowed to see Alien because it was too scary and too grown up, but he got his hands on the novelization and made a graphic novel about it. Homemade comic about the alien from the novelization. This is amazing.
So he interpreted this text that we've just read.
This terrible book.
He must have been confused for a while.
Yeah, seriously. All he had to go on for visual reference was the pictures inside the book.
In the photos in the centre.
And trying to work out what actually happened in this book from the book. It's so insane. AlienAge11.com. It's so great.
So he's got this poor kid's going to his parents. It's not that scary. It's about a cat. And they're like, no, you can't see it. I was gonna do a bit of Irish accent, but I won't bother.
Yeah. Don't put yourself in that position. Yeah, that was a terrible experience, and it's over now, just like Valentine's Day.
Oh, happy Valentine's Day! Look, thank you so much for listening. As always, please review us, send your comments, do all that sort of stuff. We'll have a mini episode next week, which will tell you what our next book is.
For your homework?
I'm very excited about that one.
I'm not.
I know you're not.
I'm really, really angry about the next one, actually.
I loved it.
No, I did not.
And, yeah, so, look, review us on iTunes, comment on the blog.
Tweet about it.
Tweet about it. Tell your friends.
Facebook.
Let everybody know.
Live journal it.
I've run out of steam.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I think you started this out of steam. It's Valentine's Day, everybody. Love one another. And we'll catch you on the flips.
Right.